All right, class, how are we today? So let's jump right in. We're starting a brand new topic, okay? But it still relates to the previous lessons that we've done, okay? So let's begin here. Directions. Write an equation that represents each scenario and make a table that shows the balance for the first 4 transactions. So we're going to go ahead and write an equation. That's number 1. And then we're going to make a table. That'll be the second thing we have to do, okay? So let's read this. An abandoned checking account has a balance of $3,600. There is a $10 monthly fee for the account, okay? So abandoned meaning that the person forgot about it and there's money in the account that is untouched, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to write an equation here first for this. And we're going to go write it like this. Y equals, okay? And let's go ahead and write the total here. The total is 3,600 or 3,600, right? So we're going to write 3,600. And now, there's a $10 monthly fee. A fee is something that they charge you, right? So this means that this amount here is going to be reduced by $10. How often? Every month. It's a monthly fee, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and do what? We're going to go ahead and subtract $10 each month, okay? Now I can go ahead and change this to a letter M here, so let me do that just so that it could represent month, okay? So 10M. So that's my equation for this scenario. Now let's make a table that shows the first 4 transactions, okay? So basically make a little T table there. And then here we're going to put the month, okay? That's the number of months, so we're just going to go 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's the first 4 transactions. So the first transaction counts for month 0. That's the original balance. And then we'll do month 1, month 2, month 3. And by the way, you can use a calculator, okay? So what do we put here? Well, Y stands for the balance, okay? So we can just put Y right here. Or we could just say the balance, okay? Let me get my calculator here. And so let's go ahead and do this. For 1 month, after 1 month, they're going to subtract $10 here. So how much will we have left? Well, 3,600 minus 10 is 3,590, okay? So 3,590, okay? And then subtract 10 again. For month number 2, it's 3,580. And then subtract 10 again. That'll be 3,570, right? Now, if we were to extend this further and say, okay, well, when would the balance be 0? Okay? When would the balance be 0? Well, there are 2 ways you can do it. You can keep going down the table here until you get to 0. It's going to take you a while, right? Because it's doing it only $10 at a time. Or what you can do here is set the balance, which is Y here, set it equal to 0, and then solve, okay? But we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to go ahead and write the equations and make a table using the first 4 transactions, okay? Let's look at the next one here. It says, a lake has 350 fish. Each year, the population decreases by 14, okay? So 14 fish die off or get fished out each year. So let's go ahead and write the equation here. So Y equals, so what's the total? We have 350 fish. That's our total amount. And then each year, so now notice here, over here it was each month, but here we have each year. So the variable could represent any amount of time here. Okay, so each year the population decreases by 14. So decreases means we're going to have less. So we're going to subtract 14 each year. Okay, so I'm not going to use Y because I'm already using Y right here. So I'll just use X. Okay, but just know that X represents each year, right? And so X, I'll put right here in parentheses, means year. Okay, and then the Y here represents the number of fish. Okay, up here M stood for month, right? That's why we use the letter M. And then the Y was the balance, okay? So let's go ahead and do the first 4 years, counting the very first year. But remember, no fish will be removed on the first year. So a lake has 350 fish at the start, okay? So that'll be 350 at the very start, okay? Now 1 year passes, each year it decreases by 14, so subtract 14. So let's take our calculator. 350 minus 14 is 336, okay? Basically, it's like if we were plugging in a 1 right there. 350 minus 14 times 1. Now, after the second year, yes, it's subtracting another 14 from the previous year, but it would also be the same as plugging in a 2 right here. 14 times 2 is 28, so 350 minus 28 is going to be, well, it's another 14 from there, right? So let's just do minus 14, and we get 322. Okay, or I could do 350 minus 28, which is the same amount. See that? Okay, so let's subtract 14 again for the third year, and we get 308. Getting the hang of this? Okay, next. A hot air balloon is 2,460 feet above the ground. It begins descending, that means coming down, at a rate of 80 feet per minute. How fast does it do it? Each minute it drops 80 feet. Okay, so let's go here. Y equals, and then we're going to put the total here, which is 2,460 feet above the ground. And it's going to begin descending. Okay, that means we're going to be getting lower and lower. So we're going to subtract from this height, right? How much? We're going to subtract 80 feet each minute. So I'll use M for minute. Okay. And so let's make our table here. So each minute, right? That stands for a minute. We will have a new height above the ground. Okay. So we'll do minute 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And so at the start of it, right, we always start with 0 here. It's going to be 2460. That is our starting height from when the balloon begins to descend. Okay? And so it drops 80 feet each minute. So after 1 minute, let's subtract 80 feet. So 2460 minus 80 is 2380. Okay? And then subtract 80 again. And that's 2300. And subtract 80 again. And that's 2200. 20. Sorry. 2220. Okay? So we have here the first 4 events here at the start, right? And then 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Now notice here, if I wanted to know, let's say after 10 minutes, where are they? Well, I just plug in a 10 right here. 80 times 10 is how much? 80 times 10 is 800. So 10 minutes, just subtract 800 from that amount. So 2460 minus 800, they'd be 1,660 feet above the ground still. Okay? So again, the equation helps because we can plug in any value there to see how much we are above the ground. And then the table gives us a more organized way of looking at the amount of time it takes to reach the ground level. Okay, let's finish with this one here. The temperature is negative 11 degrees at sunrise. So it's really cold here. And it rises 4 degrees every hour. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this. Y equals negative 11 degrees. All right, I don't need to put the degree symbol. And it rises 4 degrees each hour. So we're going to add this time. It's adding 4 degrees each hour. I'll put an H there. Okay. And so let's make our table here. Okay, so each hour, right, we're going to 0 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, 2, and 3. And then the Y represents the temperature. Okay, so this is the temperature, and this is the hour. So at the start of this, it's negative 11 degrees. But it increases 4 degrees every hour. So after 1 hour, it's 4 degrees cooler, right? So I have negative 11. I'll put negative 11 like this. And I'm going to add 4. Oh, look at that. I'm at negative 7 degrees still. Okay. Add another 4. Then it's negative 3 degrees. Add another 4. And it's 1 degree. So it's still cold after 3 hours, right? But it's much cooler than it was 3 hours ago.